All right, let's talk some rookie QBs now. We have so much QB on the brain here. Let's get to the rooks. Now, these guys aren't going to get super paid anytime soon, Cullen. We know they are smack dab starting their rookie contracts, but we can talk about their projections in terms of yards. So let's start with the number one pick, Caleb Williams. 3,500 yards, 3,532 yards for him, rookie year in Chicago. I'm going over here, Cullen. This guy has weapons falling out of his pockets. I mean, already, bro, think about this for a second. This is how insane this is. He goes to the Chicago Bears, an NFL franchise, right? I think he has more weapons in Chicago than he did at USC. He has a better offensive line in Chicago than he did at USC. The only difference is he's taking a pay cut to go to the Bears. He was making more money at SC than Chicago. But other than that, I actually think he's going to be better than he was in college. I think he's going to put up better numbers because he has better pieces around him. I'll go over that.
Yeah, this number is way too low for me.
Yeah.
I think he's going to crush this one.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be close. Like, maybe 3,800 is the minimum I'd put for a line at Caleb Williams. I see him going up to the 4,000, maybe 4,100 mark, even in his rookie season. And we've talked about how good of a fit he could be in this offense. And it comes down to the intelligence in the pocket and the fact that if he doesn't have a shot downfield with DJ Moore, he can either go medium field with Rome Odunze or, the short field slot receiver and Keenan Allen. There's so many opportunities here for this offense to beat any team that they face. And we've talked about this, Travis, that this Bears team is probably going to be faced with a lot of shootouts this year.
Yep.
There's probably going to be a lot of games where they have to score 24 or more, 30 or more points, and the offense is built to do that. And with that comes a lot of passing yards, will come a lot of passing touchdowns for Caleb Williams. He will chip in on the rushing side as well. He'll scramble when he needs to. But when it comes down to it, I think Williams is going to average, over 260 yards per game. He's going to hit 300 a bunch of times this year. And that number at 35, 32 is just way too low for me. I don't understand where that one came from, given the system he's walking into. I have to imagine part of it is just that rookie QB just bumping it down a little bit. Any other QB in that system that's established for a few years is probably going to be projected in the 4,000s or the 3,800s. So the rookie QB aspect does bump it down. Maybe it takes him a few games to get acclimated. I don't know if it will. I think Williams is going to start off hot from day one with Chicago. He's going to put together a really great rookie season.
I agree with you. These are ESPN projections, so what the hell do they know anyways? All right, J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, same, 3,500, 3,527 yards. Listen, I'm not a J.J. McCarthy guy, and here's the deal. Like, I'm not a hater per se, Cullen. I just feel
I don't know about that.
I don't think I am, and here's why. It's just too unknown. I don't know what he is because he wasn't asked at Michigan to do much. There were a few games that Harbaugh put the pressure on him to drop back there and throw, but that's a small sample size. For the most part, he was kind of asked what Brock Purdy is being asked to do. Like, just manage this game. Don't lose it. We have a stellar defense, stellar offensive line. 3 or 4 all-world running backs. Harbaugh is a great college coach. I just think, I get all the hype around J.J. McCarthy. By the way, Cullen, I love college football. He had hype coming into college football. He had hype from high school. So he's always been this blue chip. Everyone believes in him. Dude, I just haven't seen him put, a team on his back or a program on his back and carry them. With that being said, this is why I know I'm not a hater. I'll go over here on this number because he has Justin bleeping Jefferson. Just throw him the ball, Cullen. He has Jordan Addison. He has other pieces here. I'll go over for McCarthy, even though I'm not sold on him being some next great quarterback or some savior. Does that make sense?
It does. I think this line is actually set in a really good spot for J.J. McCarthy. I don't think he's going to go out there and toss 300-yard game after 300-yard game because that's just not who he was in college. And that's just not what the Vikings offense, I don't think, is going to be this year. They brought in Aaron Jones. I think there's going to be a lot of rushing involved in this offense. But you mentioned the Justin Jefferson effect, and that's the true game-breaking effect that this offense is going to have. If it comes down to it, will J.J. McCarthy air out the ball with Justin Jefferson on the X spot? Yes, he has to, because it is the best wide receiver in the NFL. So overall, I think this line is good. I could see it going a hair under, maybe at the 3,400 range for JJ McCarthy. I still think he has a relatively successful rookie season. I could see him winning 8+ games in Minnesota.
Wow.
Potentially. But I do think that the stats will not be over the moon, right? That we just talked about with Caleb Williams. They're just two different quarterbacks and in two different systems, right? So that's where I kind of stand on McCarthy. He's shown that he can win football games, and that's really important. When he comes to the NFL, I think that learning curve is going to be a little bit longer than it is for Caleb Williams.
Sure.
I understand the narrative was that he is an NFL-ready quarterback right off the jump, but I think it's going to take him a game or two to get there. I could see him finishing at the 3,400 to 3,500 mark, just a hair under this line.
What about Jayden Daniels there in Washington? All the reports so far have been rave reviews about him. He's at 3,400 yards, 3,457. You know, you got to think with him, too. He's dual threat, so a lot of this stuff, he's going to be moving. I don't know much about their offensive line. I feel like he could be running for his life instead of running to pick up yardage. But I'll go over here with Jayden Daniels. All the reports are he's a stud. They have weapons there. Maybe there's some competent coaching there now. We'll see. I know Kingsbury's there calling plays, Cliff Kingsbury. I'll go over for Jayden Daniels, but it's just purely on optimism here.
Yeah, I think the Commanders' offensive line, a lot of changes here. Sam Cosmi sticking around for them. He's going to be the anchor, but they brought in a couple of new pieces. When it comes to Jayden Daniels, I think the key thing is how many of those total yards are going to be rushing, how many of those are going to be passing. I do think overall with the offense that we saw that was a little bit iffy or a bit iffy with Sam Howell. Terry McLaurin still got his. Dotson still got his. So the wide receivers there are solid. It's one of the better tandems in this NFC East. Obviously not better than the Eagles, but, you know, they're great. So that doesn't really matter. But I think overall, Daniels, I could see going over this one. I think just based on pure speculation, based on the dual threat ability, maybe he goes like 3,300 through the air, chips in 500-600 on the ground, something like that. And totals maybe get up to 4,000. But with the rushing and the passing, I do think this offense is going to be a little bit better than people anticipate with Jayden Daniels and with the offensive line. The running game should still be strong. I think with Austin Eckler back there. So I think things are going to be a little bit better than anticipated. And I think Daniels is going to be a really strong quarterback year one as well.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, if he gets all purpose up there in that 4,000 range, that offense is going to be a lot better. I would agree with that. All right, now ESPN projects 15 games for Drake Maye here. So this is why these numbers are a little bit higher. Drake Maye, 3,378 yards. Now, if he gets to that, he damn sure played in a lot of games because I don't necessarily see him. I'll go under here because I think he's going to play half of the year. I think that first half of the year, I could see Jacoby Brissett really carrying it until the Patriots are a little bit out of contention. Then you turn to Drake Maye. And I just don't think he'll see these type of numbers in half of the year. But if ESPN is right and he plays 15, then I'm okay with these numbers. I just don't see him playing that many games. What do you say?
Yeah, Travis, we were talking right before we recorded. I think Brissett's getting at least 6 games to start off this year.
I think
least.
So.
And he can go even more than that. It could be the full bench year for Drake Maye, full developmental year for the rookie quarterback. I would prefer that doesn't happen.
Me too.
I think the key thing for Maye is that when the team feels like he's ready, they put him in. And if that happens on week 12, that happens in week 12. That happens on week 4, it happens in week 4. Then we kind of see where things go from there. The 15-game projection, I just think is ludicrous. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett's going to be the starting quarterback for the first month of play in my mind, at least. And then, I said 6 weeks as well. So this number, the 3,300 is solid if he does play this amount of games with the offense that the Patriots have and the rookie wide receivers with the rookie quarterback. Really get up there in terms of games played? I don't think so at all. If we're talking next year, I think the projection is going to be a lot higher because Maye took the time and sat down behind Jacoby Brissett this season. For the Patriots, I think the best case scenario, this is obviously Foxboro Rush. We can talk a little bit Patriots for a second. I think the best case scenario here is that he spends the amount of time he needs on the bench in the backup role, getting reps in practice, learning from a true mentor like Jacoby Brissett, and then he comes out there and jumps into the starting role because he's prepared for it, and it's not a Bryce Young situation that we saw last year with Carolina, that he gets thrown to the wolves with a bad O-line and gets, shoved down multiple times. I think with Jacoby Brissett, with this Patriots offense developing with Drake Maye, this is the best case scenario. We've talked about it before. I think this line, too long didn't read, is a lot higher than it should be, given the fact that I think Maye, if he plays, I think he plays half or less than half of this season.
Bro, other than Caleb Williams and hammering the over for that, this is my favorite one. Bo Nix, 3,165 yards. I'm going over. I think Bo Nix is being slept on right now. He's going to be your starter from day one. I think he works perfectly with Sean Payton. I think he's going to have an excellent rookie season. The only thing is he'll be overshadowed by Caleb. But I do believe Bo Nix is the quarterback of the right now for the Denver Broncos. He's ready to go. I felt this way about Michael Penix. That's why I hate that he ended up where he is in Atlanta. But I think Bo Nix is ready to play right now. I'm going over here, Cullen.
Yeah, the key thing you mentioned was Sean Payton. I think he's going to bring the most out of Bo Nix that he possibly can. I'm not saying this Denver team's going to be exceptionally great at all, but I think Bo Nix can be a solid rookie quarterback. I don't think he's going to look lost out there. And this line is really, really shallow. I mean, 31-65 shouldn't be too hard for a starting NFL quarterback to get, especially one with the skill set of Bo Nix, with the wide receivers that he has there and the weapons he has there in Denver. But the key thing is Sean Payton, right? What could he get out of Bo Nix? Will this Broncos team win 10 games? Absolutely not. I don't think so. Will they be able to be a successful team with a rookie quarterback? That's the big caveat. Successful with the rookie quarterback? I think so. And I think Bo Nix with this line should be able to get to that 3,400 mark relatively easily, with some upside for some bigger numbers down the line.